Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Well, I'm in a pretty good mood considering that I'm on my way to my dental appointment and it is pouring down rain. And, yeah. I'm just ready to go and get it done, so I don't have to go back for a while, honestly. I woke up in pretty good spirits today, but I will say this. That's my reminder for my appointment. I'm early a little bit, but I will say this, that I woke up this morning, you guys, and my hand is absolutely killing me. I don't know if you can still see it, but when I pull up here in a second, I'm pulling up, I'll show you guys. It's like raised today. I put lotion on it, I put aloe lotion on it, I washed it, I took a shower and did my hair and everything today. I don't know if that means it's getting better. I mean, my dad is a hand surgeon, I could call my dad, and I'm gonna do that when I get in with my dentist appointment, but, let me show you guys. This is from coffee, okay? Can you see? Look at that. And it's actually starting to turn kind of a little purplish in some areas. And I'm like, what is going on? So, yeah. Not my smartest move. Not my smartest move at all, but. So my plans are, so I didn't get up today and film other videos because I woke up and my hand was hurting and I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna relax this morning, take a shower, get ready, get to the dental appointment early, and all of that stuff so that, yeah, so that I'm not rushed today. I have 3 videos to post, so I'm excited about that. If I would come out of here and my mouth wouldn't be all crazy, then I might film my other 2 videos later, we'll have to see, so, just depends. Last time I wasn't too bad, like for a couple hours I was like sore, but after that, I was fine. So I may be fine by early evening, and then I could film my Peterisms, or Peter Likes Books video and stuff. So anyway, I plan to just listen to my audiobook. I started listening to In Cold Blood a little bit last night, and I plan to listen to my audiobook this afternoon and relax and just lay in bed and be so happy that I don't have to go back to the dentist for a deep cleaning for a while. So anyway, I will give you guys an update when I leave the dentist. Bye. Hello, hello, hello. Well, I survived my second dental appointment. I was there just a little bit over 2 hours. My mouth is not as numb as it was last time. And it actually wasn't that bad at all. I got 4 shots on this side, and then they went over and they did the complete cleaning over all my teeth. And then she told me she wants me to use a water pick, electric toothbrush, to floss every night, and she's gonna get, she ordered this prescription toothpaste for my gums to use for a month, because she said my gums are really sensitive, so. But that was fine. She said my teeth are looking really good. I don't have to go back for 3 months, and then I have to get maintenance cleaning every 3 months. And she said things should be fine. She said it looks like everything's going good. So, yeah, that made me happy. And I got a hold of my dad before I went into the appointment, and he had me send him a picture of my hand, and he was like having me feel it and stuff like that. He said it's gonna look bruised. He said, but that's actually your hand healing. He said if you can feel, if like when you're touching the burn, you can feel your hand. He said, then your hand is fine. He said, don't worry about it. He said, it looks to me like your hand is actually healing. He goes, that's how it's gonna look. I told him, I said, Tanya told me to put ice on it right away, so I put ice on it right away, and then all these people were telling me that I shouldn't do that, that burns it twice, and he goes, no, that's actually not true. He goes, you actually do want to put ice on it right away. He goes, you just don't want to wait an hour and then put ice on it. He goes, but if you put ice on it right away, it was like a Mercedes hatchback. I've never seen one of those before. So, he was like, yeah, so I guess I did do the right thing last night. And then he said, you want to put some, he was like, do you have aloe at home? And I'm like, yeah, we have aloe at home. And he said, okay, well, you want to put aloe on your stuff at home, or put it on your hand at home, and then just kind of leave it and don't mess with it. So that was that, and posted the Psychic Twins video. Oh, I gotta post my other videos. And then my friend Aaron texted me and wanted to see if we wanted to go out to dinner with Melissa and Jason, and she and her husband tonight to the Olive Garden. But Alex had just made plans to go out to dinner with his friend friend that had the baby earlier in the year. She can't, like, there's only certain nights that she can go do stuff. So but they were supposed to go early, so he was like, well, maybe because we're going to dinner at 8. And I said, well, it's not that big of a deal if you can't make it. And he was like, well, I just made plans and now I feel bad. And he goes, well, let me see if I can make him another night. So I said, well, I'm gonna go to the Olive Garden with them. If you can make it, that's great. Whatever. If you can't, so I haven't been to the Olive Garden in forever. I love the Olive Garden. Yeah, and I actually think I'm gonna go to Ulta right now because, I mean, I got up, I didn't just throw on a hat, I like looked nice today, but my mouth is not that bad, so I think like in an hour or two it should be back to normal. It's still like right here, it's like numb, so I don't want to film videos right this second, but I think in an hour or two it should be okay, and then I'm gonna do my booktube video and the review video. So yeah, and I'm trying to like kind of wait and get that done so that, or I'm trying to wait a little bit so that this unnumbs, because I want to go home and take a nap after that before we go to dinner. So that's about it. I have my headphones on today. Do you guys ever, like, when you're sitting there, think like just the strangest stuff, like when you're listening to music? All of these weird songs came on my iPod today. I was listening to it, and Endless Love by Diana Ross, and the original with, you know, what's his name? Lionel Richie and Diana Ross came on, and I love that song so much. I also love the Luther Vandross, Mariah Carey. I love Luther Vandross anyway. So sad that he's gone. But I love his version with Mariah Carey. But this was the Lionel Richie one, and I was thinking about, because I just talked about Sophia Richie in my video that I did with the Psychic Twins. Who was texting me? And this is a collab that's coming up that I'm very excited about. But anyway, and I was like, you know, everybody talks about like, oh, Sophia Richie or oh, Nicole Richie and all this kind of stuff. But can we talk for a second about like how cool it is that their dad is Lionel Richie? Like, he was such a big deal when I was growing up. You know, it's so crazy to think about. I don't know, it's just so strange, isn't it, to think that their dad is like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like, sometimes we don't think about like the kids. I mean, there's a lot of people that, you know, are super famous that have kids. Who was I looking up the other day? I was looking up something about Elizabeth Taylor, and I was thinking, I couldn't remember like when she had passed away. It was 2003, I think. This was last night that I was looking it up, and it said that she had 4 kids, and I was like, you never hear her kids talk about anything. Have any of them written a book or anything? I would love to read something like that. Maybe I'll go to the bookstore. I haven't gone to the bookstore in forever. So I'm gonna go to Ulta, and then I'm gonna go to the bookstore as well. Okay, I'm at the post office, so I'm gonna run to the post office. Here, I'm gonna show this to you guys right now, because if I don't, I'll forget. So, the other day I went to the post office, and I got this in the mail. I was so excited. So, I got a little card, and I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, look, it has a cute little dog on the front of it. And it says, "Hi, Peter. March 5th this year is Mardi Gras, and I just wanted to send you a little something. Your videos keep me laughing and inspired, so thank you for that. Keep being you. Francesca from New Orleans." And she said, "P.S. The umbrella is for Boo Radley, but you can use it too, LOL. P.P.S. The K-Cups are from a local coffee company. It doesn't taste like eating actual king cake, but it's good coffee nonetheless." Okay, so let me just tell you, I haven't looked at the Mardi Gras stuff, but I did like pull open because I wanted to look at the K-Cups. And this is so strange, and I've actually talked about this on my vlog before, okay? So, I went to New Orleans, years ago because I was helping at the time when I was working in treatment. One of my responsibilities was helping setting up programs. And so I went with my program director, and we went to Louisiana, and we went and looked at all of these halfway houses that were down there. And so we hung out with all of these people that were sober and in recovery and stuff when we went down there. It was a really fun trip. And they all talked about community coffee. That's all they talked about, was how much they loved community coffee. And for years, I remembered that and never got it. I would think about it every once in a while, think about getting on Amazon and buying stuff, and I never did. I cannot believe she sent me community coffee. I have wanted to try this coffee. Okay, so I left working in the treatment facility, let's see, in 2000, and the end of January. I mean, it's been like exactly 11 years ago I left. Like 2 weeks ago, 11 years ago was when I left. So it would have been like 5 years before that. So it's been 16 years ago that, maybe even longer than that we went down there. And I found out about this coffee, and I've wanted to try this coffee ever since, and have never done it. So I'm so excited about this. So Francesca, thank you so much. I'm so excited to try this. Okay, so then there is a Mardi Gras mask, which I love so much. Oh my God, hello. If I remember, this will be my thumbnail. There's a Mardi Gras mask. I love that. And, okay, wait. Oh, there's like 2 more things in here. Hold on. Oh my God. I was just talking about the rainbow flag the other day. Rainbow flag Mardi Gras beads. Okay, hey. I want to see the umbrella. Oh my Lord, a little Boo Radley umbrella. Look at it. It's already raining, so I don't have to worry about it. How cute is this? Oh my gosh. Okay, here's my full... Here's my full thumbnail if I remember. Okay, that was hilarious. Thank you so much, Francesca. This is so cute. Now, Boo Radley, you know that he goes on many travels to places where it rains. And he will be very happy to find out that he now has an umbrella. And his brothers will be very jealous, and they'll want to, it says Mardi Gras on it, is that not so cute? They will want to share his little umbrella. But Boo Radley, he's not very good at sharing, so he probably won't want to share a whole lot of that. I'm so excited to go home and try this coffee. Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you. Okay, let me put this, make sure this all fits. All right, well now I'm gonna go into, here, I'll put this back here. Take it out when I get home. I'm gonna go into the post office. What is that? Oh, my headphones. My headphones I was listening to. I don't listen to my AirPods when I go to the dentist because I'm afraid that they'll like fall out and then they'll be on the floor and then I won't find them and stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna go into the post office and then I'm gonna go to the bookstore and Ulta. So I will be back in a little while. Bye. Hello, hello, hello. The gas station, I just got gas. I wanted to use the bathroom because I've been listening to my audiobook and it says closed for 30 minutes. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom so bad. But I'll vlog and come back. Or I'll vlog and just go home. I'm probably not going to vlog for a really long time tonight. It is cold outside in Indianapolis, but all the snow is melted and it's dry outside. Yeah. Let me get situated for a second. Heated seat, heated wheel. Somebody commented on my vlog last night and gave me a suggestion for a lip balm that I'm gonna look up. I'll tell you what it's called. I took a screenshot of it and so I'm gonna look it up. It is called, it was from Bonnie, and she said Clé de Peau lip balm. It's fantastic but pricey. You can buy it at Nordstrom's or Saks, even online. So I am gonna look that up. So many people were so nice about the dentist and saying, I cannot believe I just put $24 in my gas tank and it only filled half the tank. So many people were so nice about the dentist, and I have to say what's so interesting about it is that this time that I went, it like didn't hurt, you know, nearly as bad as it did the first time. Maybe that was just because I knew what I was to expect. But tonight, like, it hurts. It's like, it's like this dull pain. And she told me to expect that. She was like, it's gonna hurt tonight. And I was like, but anyway, what did I do? I went to dinner with Aaron and Eric and Melissa and Jason, and Alex went out to dinner with his friend. He actually got done early, and he was like getting ready to stop by, and we were leaving. We were only at dinner like an hour, and we had a really nice dinner. It was very quick, and then I came home, and he was already like in bed. And so I came upstairs and I like laid down, and he was like, he turned the light off and put his phone away, and I go, are you going to bed already? Because he usually like sits on his phone for a while, and he goes, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. So I like, just because I had to charge my phone, so I plugged in my phone and laid down and slept until about midnight, and then got up and listened to my audiobook, and now I'm vlogging. Hello. So my hair's a little messy, but whatever. And, yeah, that was my evening. It was nice. It was kind of just nice to have, like, a low-key dinner. And, hold on a second. Let me fix this so it's on the defrost. My list of things I need to do this week is just, like, piling up and piling up and piling up. And tomorrow, I have a hair appointment that I thought was at 11:15 or 11. I thought it was at 11:45, and it's at 10:30. And, my paper said that, like, I had on my receipt from last time said 11:45, but my confirmation that I got said 10:30, and I got two confirmations, like an email and a text confirmation. So I was like, well, I guess it's at 10:30. So I've got that at 10:30, which is actually better because I'll be out of there by 11:30, and then because I'm just getting my hair cut, because then I have another training appointment. I had one on Monday, but I have one tomorrow too because he was sick last week. So I have that tomorrow at 1, which is good because that'll give me more time to like come home and like get dressed to go to that. So I don't have to like take my, you know, shorts and stuff. Because if it was at 11:45, I would have had to have like taken my shorts and changed at the gym, which is fine, but I would have had to have thought all that stuff through. So yeah, my hand is feeling a little bit better. It still hurts. It's kind of like got this dark purplish, you can't see it really anymore, but it's got like this dark purplish color like down here. And so yeah, that's about my life right now. What's going on with you guys? What are you doing? My friend the other day, she said she was looking at pictures of me from when I was like in my late 20s, and I had a faux hawk, and she was like, you should have a faux hawk. And or maybe she just suggested it to me, and I was like, maybe she heard me talking about it or something, I don't know, to somebody, but I was like, I had a faux hawk back in the day, like for a long time, and she was like, I think that would look so good on you. And I was like, okay, my hair does not, like, my hair just falls now. It's like, that is something that they don't tell you that happens as you get older. Like, my hair is still like super, super thick, like all over. Which is interesting because people will like say in my videos that my hair is thinning in the front. Like, I literally, this receding hairline that I got, I've had for like 10 years, and it really is no different than it was when I first got it. And my hair is really pretty thick. And my dad has really thick hair. Both sides of my family, they had really, really thick hair. So I don't think I'm probably gonna go bald, but who knows? But one of the things that happens as you get older is your hair gets, like, not necessarily thinner, but like I mean, it does get thinner for a lot of people, but it like lays down, you know? Like, I used to be able to get out of the shower and my hair would just like stand up straight. I wouldn't even have to blow dry it or anything. It would just stand up, you know, like a long like buzz cut. And then I would just like put, you know, product in it and just go like that. Like, that's how my hair worked. I would have to have pretty short hair and use product and blow dry it to have a faux hawk today. I should show some pictures of, I mean, I had a faux hawk for a long time. The good old days of hair. And I remember when I was like out in Denver and I was visiting my friend, and that would have been 11 years ago, because Alex and I, that summer was when I was out there visiting before I met Alex. Well, I had met Alex already, but before we went on our first date. And I can remember him saying to me something like, I don't really love your hair, like you've been doing that for so long, you should do something different. And I was like, well, what do you think I should do? And he was like, I like you with like a much more like clean cut haircut, you know, like parted on the side and kind of like over. Because I had worn it like one night while we were out, going out down there. My hair was longer and I like parted it on the side and like wore it out. And I started it, that's when I started doing it. And ever since then, my hair's been kind of like this. It was brown, but for our wedding, both of our hair was longer. Alex's hair, I loved his hair when it was longer. He's gone through, I mean, my husband has had so many different hairstyles. His hair's really short right now. He just got it cut really short. And but for our wedding, he knew that I liked it longer and kind of curly. So he grew it out for our wedding, and it was like, it wasn't like long, like, you know, you guys have probably seen our wedding pictures, but it was like longer, you know, and I loved it. And then he had really long hair for a while, and he would like flat iron it and stuff like that, and it took him a long time. I think he got really tired of that. He's had so many different hairstyles, and he's always changing it up. It's so funny because he and his two brothers, all three of them have such completely different hair like textures. Like, you know, Alex has really, really curly hair. Like if his hair is like this length, like mine is, and he comes out of the shower, it's like curly. It's like super curly. And then Carlos's hair is straight. But it's like really coarse, and there's like wave to it, and so it's like when it's longer, and he's had his hair like really long at times, like not super like long like this, but he's had it longer and it's like wavy. And then Fufu has like hair exactly like me, like he has like, and he wears it very clean cut and things. But when he was in high school, his hair was like super long. He was like a skater kid and always wore like, you know, caps, and his hair was like real long and in his face and stuff like that. Because I can remember when he went to college and he pledged his fraternity, like that was when he cut his hair really, really short, and his mom was so happy. She was like, he looks so nice with his hair short. And, she was so happy about that. And then it's so funny because Carlitos has really, really curly hair like Alex, and neither Liliana or Carlos have real curly hair. And then Sebastian has hair like them, like his hair is kind of wavy but not super curly. But both of the kids, they keep their hair like super, super short. Carlos had like a short mohawk for a while, and Carlitos wanted the same thing. So like Carlos cuts their hair except for Liliana's. And so like when he was like, you know, buzzing his haircut short, like how long ago was that? That was probably a year ago. So Carlitos was, how old is he now? 5? He was 5 at the time. So he gave Carlitos a little short mohawk. They look like twins. It was so funny. He's such a great dad. My tooth. Do you guys watch Matt and Blue? They're a gay couple, YouTubers, and they're living like in this real small town now. I haven't watched their videos for a long time. I'm kind of like, I don't know if you ever do this, but I went back to like their newest video and watched it, and then I'm like watching them back. And they live in this like cabin house kind of thing, like out in the middle. It's beautiful. I don't know where they live, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's like mountains all around them. But I was watching it and I was like for a moment, I was kind of like Alex and I never had the kid talk because neither one of us wants kids. And that was kind of like a deal breaker when we got together. Like, Alex definitely didn't. And I had always kind of thought at some point, you know, like whoever I was with, that we would adopt, but I was never, like, I never felt strongly about it either way. Like, I've never in my life, I mean, when I was younger, I thought I would, you know, like, I honestly thought I'd get married and have kids, you know, and whatever. I thought that's what I thought I would have to, by societal standards, get married to a woman. It's so interesting that I used to think that in high school. I just didn't think there were other options, you know, like, and, I think that was also kind of like at the point where I wasn't, like, I hadn't fully, like, accepted that I was, like, gay and that was going to be my life, like, you know, and, but I can't say that I don't ever have moments where I think, like, it would be nice if, you know, like, we adopted or whatever. But I also know that that's just not really what I want for my life, or what, I mean, Alex definitely doesn't, and, you know, we love our nephews and stuff like that. I just, you know, it just wouldn't fit into my life. I also know that I'm the kind of person that if I was a parent, it would be, like, all about that. Like, the right schools and getting them involved in art classes and sports and making sure that they had a broad, you know, range of interests and, you know, like, the right neighborhood to live in and all that kind of stuff. Like, my life would be, I mean, I wouldn't be a parent unless I was ready to dedicate my life to that. And that's always kind of been, like, you know, I knew that, like, I didn't want to do that, but, like, watching their videos, I was kind of like, you know, I was talking about this last night. It's like, you always kind of wonder, like, if you had two lives, you know. I also definitely, at this point, I mean, you know, this was an issue with my dad and my stepmom, you know, like, because he was so much older. Like, I definitely would probably not adopt at my age because, I mean, I'd be, like, in my late 60s when my child was 20. And though there's nothing wrong with that, like, I want to be able to be present, you know? I don't know. And I think about my mom passing away at 64, my grandma at 67, and so I think, you know, like, I want to be present for my kid's life. And, I don't know, but I was watching that video and I was like, I wonder what my life would have been like had I, you know. My ex and I actually talked a lot about it, and neither one of us felt real strongly about it one way or the other. But I think that we kind of thought that that was, like, the direction that we would go in, you know, like getting a house and settling down in the suburbs and, you know, adopting and... It's weird because, like, I wonder, but I don't feel like I'm missing out. And I don't know how to explain that any better than that. But, like, I don't feel like I've never felt like it was something that, like, it was, like, I had to do in my life. You know what I mean? And, like, the fact that I'm an only child, like, you know, and, like, okay, my family history dies with me. That's kind of sad to me sometimes, like, with the things that I've saved of, like, my mother's or my childhood or things like that. Like, I think, like, who will I give those things to, you know, or do I just get rid of them, or what do I do, you know what I mean? Like, Caroline's son doesn't want that stuff, and my nephews never knew my mom, so there's not really anybody to, like, pass that stuff on to, but it's just stuff, right, you know? And, although it's interesting because Caroline's son is a little bit more interested in our history than I thought he would be. And I think it was because he was so close to my uncle that, like, our whole family is kind of very interesting to him and he wants to know a lot about that. I mean, it's not like he's consumed with it, but it's like he asks questions and stuff. And, but, you know, like, the idea of, like, my name dying out with me or anything, like, never really bothered me. It's been more like stuff that I had as a kid, like books and all that kind of stuff. Like, what do I do with that? And, you know, like saving them for somebody. And what's interesting is I've started to take that stuff over to Carlitos and Sebastian because they love books. And Liliana is so fantastic, and she reads to them every night, which I'm just like, oh my God, thank God. More readers in our family, I hope, you know. And so I've started to take a lot of my childhood favorite books over to the kids, and they have them in their bookshelves over there, and it's really sweet. You know, it has my name in it and stuff. So, you know, I love that they do get to enjoy them. You know, like my favorite books like Corduroy or, you know, Little Bear, and what are some of my other favorites? What was the one? Fish Out of Water, and I took all the Richard Scarry books I took over there for Sebastian, and what are the other ones? I saved a couple of them that I love just to kind of thumb through every once in a while, you know, but I don't do that very often. So they're like books that are kind of out of print too. There's this one about this rabbit, and he's helping this girl. I don't even know what it's called. It's by Maurice Sendak, actually. And it's about this girl, and she wants to find her mother. I love this book. It's so beautiful. And she wants to find her mother the perfect birthday present. And so this rabbit helps her, this like tall rabbit. Does anybody know the book I'm talking about? I love it. Maurice Sendak, I think, is the one that wrote Where the Wild Things Are. And but she's like, my mother, like, I can't remember the exact lines, but she's like, my mother loves purple. And so he's like, well, have you ever thought about purple flowers? And she's like, well, my mother does love purple flowers. My mother does love flowers. And she takes a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they end up making like this basket of things, and they end up giving it to her mother. It's like a basket of flowers, I think, at the end. And it's just, I loved books like that when I was a kid. That's like one of like 5 that I've kept. The rest of them I've started to Curious George, Babar, which I always called Babar, and I guess some people call Babar, about the elephant. That was like my mom's favorite story to read to me. And so I like took all of those over there to the kids. And what's interesting is I have 2 of a lot of things, because, you know, people must have given them to me as gifts or something when I was a kid, but it was funny how many people said last night on the vlog that they enjoyed the rain in the background, just kind of like you could hear it hitting the car or whatever. And it was so funny because I was so calm from the rain last night too. It was nice. Do you ever just have some days where you feel, I've like, this is my 2nd day in a row where I've just felt so centered and so just like calm and balanced, and like nothing phenomenal has happened, nothing huge has happened. It's just calm. I just kind of really love just like the simple life, you know. I just threw out my coffee. I'm like, I have nothing to drink because that gas station was closed. I was going to get a bottle of water in there, but I was thinking how nice a cup of coffee sounds right now. I love to drive around and like listen to classical music or listen to my audiobook and drink a cup of coffee. And I don't even mind decaf. Like, I know some people really don't like decaf coffee, but I don't mind decaf at all. I love it. I don't think it tastes as good as regular coffee, but I like it still. I feel like spring is right around the corner. People were talking about how we're supposed to get more snow, but I looked on the weather and it doesn't look like we're supposed to get any more snow anytime soon. supposed to rain like one day in the next couple days, but other than that, I mean, it was supposed to be like 40 for like the next 7-8 days, and like rain one day. Other than that, it's just supposed to be cloudy. I don't know, I get the feeling winter's probably over. I don't think we're going to have any more really horrible weather. The dogs were so weird with their food tonight. Okay, so we've been feeding them quite a bit, and because they love this food. And you know, whenever they go to the kennel, they always because Boo and Tucker, the PB not so much, because he just like stays in the office and stuff, but Boo and Tucker run so much while they're there that they always lose weight. Well, you know, like, we're always trying to keep weight on them anyway. So we've been feeding them a little bit more, not tons, but, and you know, we separate their food. So like, PB eats in the kitchen, Tucker eats in the hallway, and we didn't used to do this when they just ate dry food, but now that we like give them wet food, we like put it on 3 different plates, and then PB eats in the kitchen, Tucker eats in the hallway, and Boo Radley eats downstairs in his house, like the little crate. And I don't know if like we've been like Boo Radley just can't eat it all or whatever, but like PB and Tucker literally go through their food like that quick. Like they eat it all like really quick, and it's quite a bit. And so tonight I was like working on the computer and stuff, and by working on the computer I mean looking at things on Audible. Oh, it's gonna stop. Hold on a second. Okay. And by working I mean looking at books on Audible. I actually bought I had 4 credits on there. I bought the new Sean David Hutchinson book that came out. It came out like this month or a couple months ago or something. I don't know, but I love him. He's the one that wrote We Are the Ants and The End of the Universe. And he has another book coming out, I think in May. And it's like his personal story. He's a fantastic writer though. So, I bought this book. I can't remember what it's called. I have no idea. It has like a soda, like a fountain pop on the cover of it. And so anyway, I was like on there, and like I was like, where's like PB? Like PB usually is like kind of standing like right by me or like sitting on the stairs, and he wasn't. And Tucker was like running around, and Boo Radley, like every once in a while I'd hear him and he'd go arr, arr. But it was like not just like sometimes when I walk in the door, like Tucker and PB will come running. Was I talking about this earlier, or was I talking about this to a friend? I don't know. I mean, you guys are my friends, right? But I was saying this to somebody, I can't remember, maybe it was on here. But like sometimes, like when I come in the door, like Boo won't even come out of his, like he'll just sit, I was telling this at dinner tonight because they were talking about crate training dogs. And like if you crate train dogs the right way, most dogs end up really liking their crate. Like Boo Radley loves his crate. Like he goes down there and just sits by himself and stuff. And then I always get sad. I'm like, Alex, Boo Radley doesn't want to come up. He's like, he likes it down there. We have like blankets and stuff and all their toys in there. So, but anyway, sometimes I'll come in the door and like PB and Tucker will come running, and like Boo Radley will just like bark from the basement. He'll be like, arr! So anyway, at first I was like, what is he barking about? So finally, I like went to the steps, and like PB was at the very bottom of the basement, and like I was like kind of watching, and so PB couldn't see that I was like watching him, and he would like hop down a step, then hop down a step, and then he would like kind of peer around the corner, and as soon as he peered around the corner, like Boo Radley would bark, and I was like, I bet he didn't finish his food. So this happened like twice, and I went down there, and Boo Radley was like sitting in the corner, but as soon as you came to the crate, he would bark. And he's not a growler. He's never been like a mean dog whatsoever. So like as soon as you came to the crate, he would like stand up and go to his plate, and he would start eating, right? And I was like, Bud, what's going on? And he just kind of looked at me, and he like had this piece of food in his mouth, and I was like, you don't have to eat it if you can't. And you could tell he wanted to eat it. He didn't want anybody else to eat it. So I sat there with him on the floor for a second, and I kind of fed little pieces to him and stuff. I think he was having a hard time because there was like some chunks that were a little bit bigger, and I was like cutting him up and feeding him. He was so sweet, and he just kind of looked at me, and then I said, okay, come on. He's a sweetie. So needless to say, I don't think that we need to feed them as much as we were feeding them. Well, maybe Pee-Pee and Tucker, because they go right through it. But maybe Boo doesn't need that much food. He always looks so thin, but every time we go to the vet, they tell us that he's perfect. They're like, no, he's fine. I'm like, he's so thin. And they're like, he's fine. He's very healthy. Tanya said to me today, she was like asking about how Pee-Pee was doing. And I was like, he seems to be doing really well. I said, like, you know, 1 day a week he'll cough, like, a lot. But then other than that, like, he's fine. And she's like, he seems like has maybe gonna, how did she say it? She's like, he seems like maybe he's gonna live a lot longer than anticipated. And I go, well, Tanya, I go, and this is a conversation I don't love to have about Pee-Pee. I can get very upset about it. In fact, the other day I thought about doing a video on each of the dogs for my Peterisms channel. I think I'm going to do this about my relationship. Like so there'll be like 3 different videos. I won't post them back to back because I know people don't want to see 3 dog videos back to back. But for me, I'd like to have them on video and do a video with Boo and do a video with Pee-Pee and do a video with Tucker and, you know, about like what my relationship is with each of them, because my relationship with each dog is so completely different. And I kind of just want that on video so that I can like go back and watch it at some point. And so I was thinking about that the other day because I got really sad. I was like, I can get like really like melancholy about this stuff and think about like like this is where it's not healthy for me to go to this place where I start thinking like, you know, there's going to be a day when none of these 3 dogs are here, you know, and it's just Alex and I, and if we have a new dog, and what will that look like? And Alex has already said we're not getting 3 dogs again, we're only going to have 1 in the future, because I've said we will always have a dog, and he's like, that's fine, but we're not going to have 3, we're going to have 1, because, you know, whatever. But like for me, like, they do so well together. Yeah, it's a lot, you know, to have 3 dogs, but they play so well together. They really enjoy each other's company. You know, I think to have 2 dogs, for me, personally, they, like, have each other as companions as long as they get along. And so, like, you know, the times when we have those conversations, Alex is like, well, I really don't even want to think about it, because then that means that, like, they're not going to be here, you know? And I'm like, no, I don't want to either, but I have those moments where I think about it. And today when Tanya said that, I was like, well, Tanya, I said, the vet said she would like to see Pee-Pee make it to 13 and a half. This is where you're going to start seeing me get very sad in the next 6 months when I talk about this. And I could probably really start crying about it right now, but I'm not really in the mood, to be honest. And Tanya, I said, well, Tanya, I said, the vet said that she wanted to see him make it to at least 13 and a half. And, Tanya goes, well, how old is he right now? And I said, he'll be 13 in April. I said, so we're looking at like October would be, she hopes he makes it to October, you know? And I looked at her, Tanya just had a sad look on her face. And I go, well, what is he like when he comes here? And she goes, he seems great. He doesn't seem like he's at risk at all. And I go, I know, he seems so good at home, you know? Like, yeah, he'll have his coffee and spurts, but like, I would say he's a little bit more lethargic than he used to be 2 years ago, but like, he's pretty active. He runs around with them all day long. I mean, they're outside all the time. They are in the backyard. Like, I mean, if I'm at home, they are outside every hour for, you know, 15 plus minutes. And, you know, he's always like chasing them around, and they're just, you know, going along the woods, and he plays. And I mean, he's just real spirited little dog, you know? And, but the vet did say, she said, you know, if the medicine works and we get it under control, and then, you know, like, he might live a lot longer and just die of something to do with old age. And then he wouldn't die from the cough. She was like, because the medicine is to stop the cough from the heart disease, because you don't want a dog to be in pain. Because if the coughing gets bad enough, then he's in pain. And you can tell, like, when he coughs, like, he's in a lot of pain. But I really thought by now, I mean, we're a year out, you know? I really thought by now we would be at him coughing every day, you know? And he just doesn't. And he'll go, and, like, in that moment, you can just see, like, he's scared. But then, like, the second that he stops coughing, he's, like, back to normal. And he hardly ever coughs anymore, you know? It's like I said, like once a week. And it usually seems to be when there's like a temperature change. So I don't know. I'm very, very hopeful for the little guy. But I'm not stupid. I know he can't live to be 20, you know? I always get real sad thinking about, I wonder which one will go first. And I also get sad thinking about which one will be left last. Like, I know this sounds crazy because, like, this is where I don't like to talk about it, but, like, I mean, I know it's not going to be Pee-Pee that's last, you know? But Tucker is definitely the one that's, like, the biggest feeler between he and, you know, Boo. Like, he just gets the most excited, and you can tell he's happy about stuff, like when he's running around and whatever. And like, I really think that he would know, like, if they were gone. Like, I think it would really, like, make, like, I think he would really know if it was just him. I mean, he's just such a sweet little guy. I don't want to, you know, I don't know. I've seen other dogs, like friends of mine, my, you know, family, that you can tell that they're sad, you know, and then, like, I think Boo Radley wouldn't understand. Like, I just don't think that he would get it. Like, Boo Radley doesn't even hardly know his name still, and, you know, he's 9 years old, you know. He really doesn't. And they told us that, you know, when we got him, and the vet said that, you know, that he's just, you know, like, somewhat like a developmentally disabled kind of, and like, he follows Pee-Pee everywhere, you know, everywhere. Boo Radley, like, you can tell he just, like, loves Pee-Pee so much. He just always is like, I mean, even if they're on the bed, you know, like, and if Boo Radley gets too close, like, Pee-Pee will kind of, like, you know, and, like, Pee-Pee, like, Boo Radley backs up. And Pee-Pee and Tucker are, like, best friends. They lay on the end of the bed together and stuff like that. But I just think, like, you know, like, with Boo, like, if he was the last one, like, I don't know, like, it just, it makes me sad. It just really breaks my heart for them, you know? That's where I sometimes wish I could just stop time, you know? And, like, they would just stay exactly where they're at. We'd all just stay exactly where we're at, you know, in time. But that's not life, so that's not possible. I think the other thing that's hard for me, too, with all of this is that, you know, like, I feel like in the last 11 years, you know, my mom passed, and my aunt passed, and my, you know, I almost said my dad. My aunt passed, and my uncle passed. God, I hope my dad, my dad will live to be like 110. And, I just talked to him today on the phone. Well, about my hand, but we were talking about some other stuff too. I feel like the last 11 years have been like me kind of like slowly letting go of who I was when I was growing up and my family and things like that. And Alex and the dogs and his family have been my constant for the last 11 years. And so I think I lean on that so strongly that I kind of don't know, like I want a little time without that being changed as well. Like, I don't know that I'm ready for that to be changed, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then, you know, I think one of the things I've really realized in my life that, I mean, I guess we all have to figure it out sooner or later, right? But that loss is a constant. And it's something that, you know, just is going to be there for the majority of our life. I mean, it's not like my mom was the first person that I lost in my life, you know, that passed away. Or that I, you know, I had breakups and stuff like that. And so sad all of a sudden about all this. See, this is why I don't like to talk about it, because then I just start getting real sad. And there's no need for that tonight. But I will say that what it does is it makes me definitely more grateful for the moments that I do have. You know, like Alex and I were talking about that, and I said, like, the little moments with Pee-Pee, okay, like, this is so dumb. So you guys know I make up names, and I talk, and I do songs and stuff with the dogs, right? So, and if I take a nap with the dogs, like in the afternoon and stuff, like Pee-Pee will come right up to me. He lets me hold him like this while I nap. And I wrap him up in this blanket. I have a picture. I took 3 pictures and sent them to Alex the other day. And so I wrap him up in this blanket. And I call him my Senorita Burrita. And I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. And he just looks up at me, and I always take pictures and send them to Alex. And Alex is always like, I wish I was there with you guys. So like little moments like that, I appreciate so much more, you know, like if Boo is like, won't like move in the bed, he's like right next to my back, and I'm like trying to move around him, and he goes, "Rrr." He doesn't growl, he just goes, "Rrr." Like, are you moving me in my sleep? And like sometimes I just let him sleep where he's at, because I think, you know what, I'm just so happy he's here, you know. Makes me linger a little longer watching them out back, you know, just walk around. And it's so funny, like with Boo, like he'll follow Pee-Pee for a long time, but then like I think I was talking about this, I don't know what vlog, last night before, but anyway, they like go along the edge of the woods, and they go way down, and then I stand out there, like, then I sit by the door, or I stand outside, depending on how nice it is, and then they come back up, and then they go and they do it like again, they'll do it like 3 times in a row. But sometimes when Boo's coming back up, like Tucker and Pee-Pee will just like go along the grass, and they sniff and they sniff and they sniff, and they go along our neighbors, and they go down front and stuff like that. But sometimes like Boo Radley will like just be like, he'll stop and he'll like look up, and then he just like busts out and starts running across the yard. It's so cute. It's so cute. One of the things that my brother-in-law, so one of his fraternity brothers, this is Fufu, one of his fraternity brothers had a dog, and it was like a German Shepherd, I think. And Fufu loved this dog, and they ended up like living together. There was 4 of them in a house that ended up living together at college after like they left the fraternity. Like they were in the fraternity, but like I think they lived there like their sophomore or junior year, I can't remember how it was, but I think at least their senior year they all lived together. And Fufu would always like have all these pictures with him and this dog. Like he loved this dog, right? And Fufu has always been so great with animals. And I was like, dude, you need to get a dog. And he was like, no, like when I get my own place, I'll get a dog. He was like, I was like, you need to get a dog. You're so good with dogs. Like it'll make you so happy and whatever. So he and his girlfriend, you know, they live in San Diego now, and he ended up getting a dog, and the dog is adorable. And it's kind of like a mix between like a shepherd and like oh shoot, this is where I wish Tanya was here because she knows. But it kind of looks like a coyote, honestly, and it's beautiful. And he forever, like they take it to the beach and play frisbee with him and stuff like that, and I'm just so happy for him. You know, I always wanted him to be able to have a dog. And yeah, I was saying that to Carlos. I said, you need to get a dog for Carlitos and Sebastian. And he was like, you need to hold it down because Carlitos already wants to get a puppy. I go, get him a puppy. He's like, don't say it so loud. We're not like ready to do that yet. And it totally reminded me of that scene in My Dog Skip. Have you guys seen My Dog Skip? It's literally one of my favorite movies of life. And where like the dad is like, no, we're not getting a dog because the kid wants a dog. It's a true story. And the mom goes and she surprises him and gets him the puppy. And the dad is like really upset about it, and at first says it has to go back and stuff. And I told Liliana, I said, we need to get the kids a dog. She's like, I want a dog. Carlos is the one that doesn't want a dog. I'm like, you guys have this big house. You have this huge yard. Like, let's get a dog. Like, what's the problem? Alex is like, you're always trying to get people to get dogs. I was like, I know, because I love dogs. I hope all my dogs live to be at least 20. I do this thing at night, like before I go to bed. This is so corny, but I do this thing. So when I get into bed, like all three dogs come up, and like Tucker and like Boo, like they lay down and they look at me, and then Pee Pee's always like standing behind them, like not standing, he's like sitting, you know, like up, like behind them, and then he comes around and he kind of sits against me like this, and I go, okay, we're having a sleepover, and now we're gonna have a story time. And they all, it's so sweet, you guys. They, all three of them, they sit there and they just kind of like look at me, and we're in the dark. Of course, you can see like the light from the street lights and the moon coming in, like, so you can just kind of see it a little bit through the bed. And Alex sometimes will wake up and he can hear me, and he just starts laughing. He's like, it's so sweet because he'll like laugh like a little bit, and like I'm like real quiet, and I'll be like, okay, so tonight's story is, and it's always a story about a prince and his two brothers that wanted like the castle, but like it switches who the prince is. Like sometimes the prince is Pee Pee, and sometimes the prince is Boo, and sometimes the prince is Tucker. And it's always that he had, you know, two brothers, which are the other two dogs, and they always wanted. It's so dumb, isn't it? Because, you know, I mean, I'm not stupid. I know that they don't know that this is like, they don't. But I think they just like the soothing way that I talk to them, because they all just sit there and they just look at me, and it's so sweet. And they love it. And then I go, okay, that was a good story time. Now let's go to bed. It's so funny the things that dogs pick up. Like our dogs now know, you want to take a nap? Like they all run upstairs when I say that. Or if we're in bed and Alex says, okay, go to sleep, they all like get in their little places of where they go to sleep, which is so sweet, I think. I don't have to go to the bathroom as much anymore, but I am really thirsty. There's my car starting again. I don't know if I want a bottle of water. I don't want to get... I think it's too late for a cup of coffee now, but... yeah. I do think about that, though, with Pee Pee, not to continue to be, like, sad, but... Like right now, I think, well, this might be our last winter with him, you know? He'll never run in the snow and see the snow again, like, you know, and it's so funny because he's so aware. Like, I wouldn't say Boo and Tucker, like Tucker's very smart, but I wouldn't say that Boo and Tucker are as aware as Pee Pee is. Like, Pee Pee will stand in the grass, and like, when like a bird, you know, like in the spring, where you hear like the birds, like the baby birds chirping, like Pee Pee will like look up, and you can tell like he hears it, he's like listening to it, and then he'll walk a couple steps, and then he'll like see like a bird like swoop down, and he'll like, you can see his head like follow it, and or like a little bunny rabbit, and he'll like, you know, he is very aware. And so like I've already thought of that with spring and summer coming, you know, and I don't know, it makes me sad because it's like, you know, I don't know. I wish all along, this is why I can't be a parent, because I think that like every ending would be so hard for me, you know, like the ending of first grade, the ending of fifth grade, you know, whatever. But like, I wish all along I had been as aware of all of that, you know, like all of those little moments, which I was, but I wish more so. Like I wish I think like my biggest regret in life, and I have a lot, you know, like, I'm not proud of the way I've acted at times, and I wish I could have taken back the way I spoke to people or the things that I said, and, you know, there's a lot that I'm not proud of, and I have a lot of regrets. I have a lot of regrets about things that I didn't do, like my mother had said at the end of her life, but I think my biggest regret is that I wish I had paid attention more. To just every little detail, you know, like, God, it kind of reminds me of that. It stopped. I didn't know it was going to stop. But did you ever see Our Town? Where at the end of it, she's like, you know, the sound of, like, you know, clocks ticking and all that. I just wish, I'm glad I got it, you know, like at 46, I'm glad that I'm not 76 and I got it, you know what I mean? But like, I wish I had gotten it at 26. Like, that would be something I would tell people that are a lot younger, or I guess any age, you know, but like, pay attention, like, to all of it, just the little things, you know, a great cup of coffee, or, you know, the smell of a puppy, or your husband sleeping next to you, you know, like, just, you know, that's like one of my favorite things, you know, it's just like being next to Alex, you know, I just love that. I feel so comfortable and so safe, and, or just like, we were talking about Fault in the Stars tonight at dinner, and I can remember reading that book on the front, I can visualize myself reading that on the front porch, and just like, I consumed that book in a day and a half, you know, and I can remember I like made this picture of lemonade, and I was out there reading it, and it just was like, with this lemonade, I just kept on going inside for lemonade. It's like, you know, paying attention to each little moment of life, and just all of it, you know, like, I wish I had paid attention more. And I wish I had paid attention more to the things that were so insignificant, yet so important, that I didn't even know at the time how important they were. You know, I can remember my mom, and I would take her to like a buffet, like a nice buffet at like a casino or something. And she just, these wide eyes, you know, and she'd say, I want to try everything, you know? My mom always had that attitude in life. She got very sad about it. Like, she had a lot of sadness too, but, and she suffered from depression, but there's a difference, but like, just that look on her face, you know, of like, or just even my mom getting popcorn at a movie, you know, like, she loved that. Or like, getting a sample of perfume at the store, or something that she always wanted to try, you know. My mother got so excited about just like things that were so insignificant that I think I've taken for granted like so many times, you know. And I think that you have to lose a lot before you start realizing those things that are really important. I don't know, but I do think that's my biggest regret, is that maybe that's my biggest lesson, is to start paying attention more, you know? And not miss out. I've gotten so much better. Like, I've gotten so much better with noticing the small things in the last couple of years. I would say the last 5 years. But there's so much I missed because bullshit that I thought was important wasn't important. But I focused more on that, you know, than what was really important. And my life has slowed down so much. And I like that it's slowed down. And I guess I just don't want to miss anything anymore, you know? I just want to be like wowed by life. But not the big things, you know? I'm really excited about this trip with Alex to Miami and Mexico, because I think it'll be so good for us to, like, you know, like, we just have uninterrupted time, and, you know, take a nap, and, you know, just be together and hang out at the pool, and, You know, him like throw me an idea, hey, we should do this, you know, and then we're just sitting there talking about some idea that, you know, we don't even know if we're going to ever make it happen, or, you know, then going to dinner and just not having any time schedule or anything, you know. I will say I am a little scared about leaving PP for that long, but I feel like, you know, he's in good hands with Tanya, so. That part always floods over there. So anyway, if you take anything away from this, I guess, don't miss out on stuff, you know. There's that country music song that I love, and I can't remember who it's by. The guy has glasses, but it's called Don't Blink. And it's about this guy, and he's like sitting in an airport, and he's like doing work, and is that the same song? Might be a different song. Well, there's one song, I think it's by Kenny Chesney, and it's about his girl, a little girl who grows up, and like one second she's little, and the next second she's like leaving for college. I can't remember what that one's called. Is that a commercial? Maybe I'm thinking that's a commercial too. I do know that because I can see her in that hatchback car, but going to LA, I think. But there's a song about that too, and but then there's another song about this guy. He's sitting in the airport, and this guy says to him, you know, don't miss out on life, to some effect. And I think the Don't Blink song is by Kenny Chesney. I think this is called something else, but and he's like, you know, and he like rebooks his flight and flies back home for his kid's birthday and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, really, it's like those. I remember years and years and years and years ago, I had like, this was like, I think sometimes people like don't understand why I worked so hard at being retired early. And it's not like I live high on the hog, you know. I mean, the ability for me to do that is that Alex and I have some other businesses that allow us to do that, and, you know, not have to work as much. But the other thing is that I also knew what I wanted my life to look like at some point. I had a friend of mine whose dad had a heart attack and died when I was about, well, I was sober at the time, so probably 23, 24, it was right around the time that I got sober, so probably within 2 years after that. And this was a really good friend of mine growing up, and he was the one I was talking about actually the other day on my vlog, that like we were friends, and then he got into marching band and stuff, but they ended up moving away to Arizona. And I remember I like was talking to his mom at that time, and I said, you know, like, what do you think he would have said, like, looking back on his life? And he was like in his mid-50s, and she said, I know, because he worked all the time. I mean, like, he was either at work or he was at home working. And she said, I know what he would say is, who cares so much about working? It's just not that important. And that had such a pivotal role in me. And then she also said something like, nobody's gonna wish that they had worked more when they're on their deathbed. It's so true. It's just so true, you know? And I also had a friend of mine when I was working in treatment, and her dad had cancer, and he was really sick, and her mom called and said, you know, you need, like, he's not doing well, like, we probably got a couple days or whatever. And she was like trying to get all her shit together so that she could leave and be gone for a couple days or whatever. And I remember this friend of mine was actually the woman that got me, she was my counselor, and she was talking to like my friend that I worked with and we were sitting there talking, and her dad had passed away, and she said, go. She said, just go. Somebody will figure out your shit. And I don't know why that just got me so emotional thinking about that, but I had such fantastic relationships with some of those people that I haven't talked to in quite some time, you know, and such an amazing environment to work in. I loved those people so much that I worked with. They were so just, but I remember she looked at her and she goes, just go. She goes, go. She goes, you are not going to look back on this and wish that you had spent more time at work getting your shit prepared. Go spend the time with your dad. That is all that matters right now. And I remember my friend looked at her and she goes, you're right. And she went and she got her stuff and she went and told my supervisor. She's like, I'm going to go. And my supervisor was, of course, 100% supportive. She was so supportive of us and things like that. I remember when my ex's dad passed away, like, I wasn't, like, because it was my boyfriend, not, you know, my husband or partner or whatever, and we didn't, like, and we're talking, you know, 15 plus years ago, that we didn't have the same laws that, you know, we have now and stuff like that, so I wasn't covered under HR to leave for a funeral. And I remember my supervisor called me in and she said, you get so many days for your father-in-law. And I was like, what? I go, he's my boyfriend. I mean, she knew how close we were. And she said, I want you to take as much time as you need. She goes, either the bereavement days that you get, but she goes, I went and I got it cleared with HR, and you take as much time as you need. I just had such wonderful people, you know. I'm so thankful for these people that I had in my life, but that is such a huge part of me, like, you know, knowing that I wanted to have the last, you know, 20 years of my working life to be slow, because I don't know, I talk to people about this all the time. You know, I feel like I'm surrounded by people that are just so driven. And I don't think unless you have people close to you that have gone through it, but like I agree with that statement that my friend's mom made, you know, that nobody sits on their deathbed and wishes that they had worked more. They just don't. None of us are going to wish that, you know? So, but you can get that lesson at a time, and then it not like really like take effect until take effect till later, you know. It's like you can learn an algebra equation in high school, but maybe you don't really get it, or a geometry equation, I guess. Like I said, I'm horrible at math, I really am, but you know, a geometry equation, but like maybe you don't really understand the lesson until you're building like that porch, you know, that they talk about in the lessons. But then you get it, you know, 20 years later you're building a porch and you're like, oh, now I understand, you know. It's like the lesson comes so many years later. And I'm thankful that that is one lesson that I kind of got early and I started planning ahead for, you know. Because I have a blessed life. I really, you know, I just have such a blessed life. I'm so grateful for my life. And I just, even though my life is very, very simple, I feel like I have a very cool life. And I love it, you know. I love even driving around every night. I just can't even imagine my life without this, you know. People recommend to me all the time, they're like, people that are YouTubers are like, you know, you should get rid of 1 or 2 of your channels or whatever, and like, they're like, do you ever think about getting rid of your vlog? Because you like spend so much time on that, but like, it's not like you get a lot of views. And I'm like, I mean, I really, in the last 2 years, it's not like my views have gone up or tripled or doubled, or, I mean, they really haven't, you know? I mean, I'm pretty much getting the same amount of views that I got 2 years ago, probably because I think some people come and then some people leave, and then new people come and then new people leave, and I'm just thankful for anybody that actually wants to watch an hour of me talk every night. Like, you know, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, the comments you guys leave me about how you listen to me and when you're going to sleep at night, and it's soothing and all that stuff, just means so much to me. And I don't have any plan of ever giving this up. I love this, and I think it's as cathartic for me as I hope it's enjoyable to you at times, you know. I mean, I know I pretty much talk about the same things on a regular basis. It's not like I'm one of those vloggers that's out showing, you know, my crazy life, because I don't have one. And I don't want to concoct some crazy life because I don't feel like I need to. I'm just this simple dude, you know, that happens to make YouTube videos, and that's really it. But I am going to make a commitment to pay attention more. I'm glad that I talked about that tonight. That was good for me to hear. I needed to hear that so I can maybe pay attention a little bit more to the things that are really important to me in my life. I really try hard now, but there's still things that, slip by me. You know what I mean? Anyway, I am going to get off here now, and I will be back tomorrow. I have a busy day tomorrow of appointments. I'll be happy when tomorrow is over because I have my dental appointment today, hair appointment tomorrow, training appointment tomorrow, which I loved my training appointment on Monday, so tomorrow I'm excited for it too, but, yeah. But I'll be ready for that stuff to be over, the training, for the appointments for the week to be over. I just realized today I have to get my new plates and stuff from my car by March 1st. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be a day at the BMV. So I've got to go do all that. And, but I'll probably do that sometime next week. So unless I do it on Friday, I don't think there's tomorrow. I don't have time to do it tomorrow. But anyway, I'll get it taken care of. Anyway, now I'm going to get, I'm gonna get off here now. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, unless you have other plans. And I love you guys. In case nobody's told you today, I love you. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.